But what is values clarification? Values clarification is defined as a method whereby a person can discover his or her values by assessing, exploring, discovering what those personal values are and how they affect their decision making. It is a procedure or a methodology advocating for a person's awareness of and comprehension of their moral standards and the ethical priorities and how these correlate. It is based on a tool called Rokich's Value 7. This was discovered by a sociologist named Milton Rokich. In my work, I have seen or experienced many values-based misunderstandings and sometimes even loss of business or relationships. But we're talking about values clarifications. What are values? To help you along, look at the lives of the following historical figures. Rosa Parks, do you remember her? The human rights activist. Mr. Nelson Mandela, the late President of the Republic of South Africa. Mr. Marco Sata, the late President of the Republic of Zambia. And Mr. Herb Keller, Chairman of Southwest Airlines. In your own words, take your notebook or your piece of paper and write down what you think were their values. Write perhaps 3 things for each person. I'll give you 2 minutes. The 2 minutes are finished. I hope you went through that exercise well. Now, if we look at the life of Rosa Parks, some of the values that she had were freedom, equality for all, and service. Mr. Herb Kelleher, he had humanism, simplicity, altruism. Mr. Michael Sata, he had integrity, persistence, and service. It is interesting that almost all of them have service as their value. It says something about leaders, doesn't it? Now let us look at what values are, how they impact decision making, and almost all other aspects of our lives. Thank you for taking the time to participate in this training. The course is divided into 5 modules, and each module is approximately 10 minutes. Module 1, which is where we are, is the introduction and definitions. Module 2 will look at the values identification for terminal values. And Module 3 will look at the hierarchy or the ranking of values and why it's important. Module 4 will look at values identification for instrumental values. And in Module 5, we're going to look at values, goal setting, and action planning. Now, let us return to one of the eminent persons that we looked at above, Rosa Parks. Let's assume that her most important value was personal security. Do you think that she would have made the decision that she made on the bus to refuse to give away her seat to a white person because the law stated so? Do you think that she would have gone ahead and risked her life to be arrested? I think probably not. Values are judgmental. We use them to distinguish between good and bad, between wrong and right. We always use them to say that our way is the right way of doing things. Thus, values have an element of choice. Because we can choose them, it means that we can improve on our effectiveness in terms of how we do things. The element of choice is important to understand because it means that we can change our value system if it's not working for us. We ask ourselves and answer the question, what is important to me? Since our values affect our actions, they also affect our level of commitment to anything that we would like to achieve, including your long life goals. On the other hand, if you're not clear about your values, you find it difficult to make effective decisions, thus hampering your progress in various fields. Now, let us reflect a little bit. When you hear the word value, what comes to your mind? What feelings do you experience? What images do you hold in your head? In my case, I think about something important, something expensive, something durable. Immediately I hear these words. However, the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary defines values as the worth of something, the quality of being useful or important. It also defines values as moral or professional standards of behavior. From all this, we can simply say value means something of importance. But now, let us link this definition to that provided by the social psychologist Rockich, which we can find in his book, The Nature of Human Values, which was published in 1973. He says that values are an enduring state, that a specific mode of conduct or end state of existence is personally or socially preferable to an opposite or converse mode of conduct or end state of existence. It is quite a mouthful, but from this definition we can glean three aspects of values. The first one, that we can have values for ourselves as individuals, and we can also have values for a society, as part of a society. But these values may be the same or they could be different. The second is that values are enduring, meaning that our values should be stable for a prolonged period. The reason is simple. Otherwise, we'll be changing decisions almost just after we have made them. Agreements that we entered into yesterday, today they've been cancelled. Deals that we agreed in the morning, in the afternoon, they are gone. That would cause chaos in life, but also in business. The third aspect is that even though values should be enduring, they can change as we rank our values against each other and gain better clarity of what we would like to achieve in our lives. We'll get back to this concept later in the course. Therefore, values are the silent factors which affect our actions and decisions. They're usually inferred from our behavior because they're a construct. They're an idea containing conceptual elements based on our beliefs and our attitudes. They are things that we cannot see physically. Rockich further distinguishes between two types of values. The first one he calls terminal values. Sometimes it's referred to as ends-oriented values. And the second one he called instrumental, or sometimes referred to as means-oriented values. They are normally shortened to ends values and means values, respectively. In preparation for our next module, we'll do a short exercise. I would like you to relax and remember the key people in your life and the people that you admire, perhaps your parents or your guardians, or a favorite teacher or a lecturer at school, or somebody at your church or any other religious organization that you may belong to, or it could be a political leader in your country or maybe in another country, somebody that you'd like to be like sometime in future. Then take a piece of paper and divide it into 4 columns. List the names of the people in the second column. And then in the third column, I would like you to list at least 3 things that you admired about them, that you think they held to be very, very important to them. Key is the 4th column. I would like in there for you to list why you think those things were very important to these people who have shaped who you are today. Just take a bit of time to complete that exercise. If you don't finish it, please go back to it when you go offline. Once you finish that exercise, I would like you to go to column 3. Look at all the important things about these people. And I would like you to select which ones of those are important to you today in the life that you are living. Cross out those that are not important to you. And then I would like you to transfer this information into a new table. Now, I would like you to talk about yourself. Why are these things important to you? For now, just a reminder that values are important to us as individuals. They determine the decisions that we make. And it's therefore important for one to be clear about their personal values and their value system. Again, thank you for participating. I'll see you in our next module.